In the heart of change, where shadows dance, midlife women take a brave stance. From career shift to emptiness, facing challenges, they do their best. Health and wellness, mind and soul, seeking balance to make them whole. Empowered voices, they rise and shine. On this journey they define. Confused to focus with Lekeisha, guiding hearts through life's transition. From confusion to clarity, finding strength in unity, holistic wellness, personal growth. Together we rise, fulfilling all. In the glow of dawn, new paths unfurl. Every woman a radiant pearl. Holistic health and wellness goals, nurturing minds, bodies, and souls. Self-discovery in every stride, breaking barriers, no longer hide. Achieving dreams, they set their sights. With Lekeisha, they ignite them. Confused to focus with Lekeisha, guiding hearts through life's transition. From confusion to clarity, finding strength in unity, holistic wellness, personal growth. Together we rise, fulfilling all. From confusion to focus, we'll find our way. With Lekeisha's wisdom, we'll seize the day.
Welcome to the Confused to Focus Talks with Lekeisha family. This is the place where we can gather, where we can definitely become unstuck from being stuck. And I'm so excited about this particular episode, family. And I'm so excited and know you are too. Oh my goodness. The title of this amazing podcast is Becoming Financially Free and Understanding How to Break Free from the Financial Blocks. And I promise you, you're going to understand this particular episode because it's not just me. It's going to be an amazing guest of mine. It's going to be the world-renowned, amazing tech coach and definitely empowerment facilitator, Michael Patterson. And he's going to have great conversations and intuition when it comes to understanding how to break free, because he's going to have insights. He's going to have great success results on how he broke free from it and how he broke free from the financial blocks from his childhood and from the day living. I promise you, you're going to want to stay tuned, family. So definitely invite a friend, definitely understand this conversation is meaningful, and definitely don't forget to subscribe to this amazing channel. I promise you, it's going to be a well-renowned and understandable for each and every one of us. We're going to have great conversations, and we're going to talk about the amazing books that broke us free too. Come on now. I'm looking forward to this conversation. Let's get into it. Let's go. Greetings, Michael Patterson. How are you? Wow.
I'm doing great. How are you, Miss Lekeisha?
I'm excited. I've been so excited for this episode. You know, I'm excited because the last time we were here talking about this type of station, it went so viral. Everyone was into it, and we could not let it end. And that's why we're having this conversation today. So I'm feeling so elated. I'm looking forward to hearing from you.
Absolutely. Looking forward to being here. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Listen, I'm so excited because we're going to not only get into the conversation as far as, how we began to like overcome the mental blocks, but we're going to come into the tools and some of the resources that really assisted us with this process, right? So I'm so excited. But before we get into it, I definitely want to acknowledge the amazing people that are here today. So we have people that are coming from LinkedIn, coming from Instagram. We got Instagram family here. We got Queen April, Queen, definitely Mommy Rob, but we got definitely diverse mindset here. Oh my goodness, from Instagram. And definitely we have, of course, our LinkedIn viewers, and we have people that are here on the actual podcast episode today. Oh my goodness. We got Jahan. He says, yes, he ready. So excited. We got Queen Bella here as well too. She said, let's go, Queen. Oh yes, we getting ready into it. I'm telling you, it's going to be so exciting. We got Queen Val, the global Val, the voice Johnson here. And she said, it's time for the show. Let's go, Queen Lekeisha. I appreciate you, Queen. We appreciate you. Oh yes. Woo! I'm so excited. Coach Mike.
Yes, absolutely. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Now, it's so amazing because last time we didn't get into any of the questions that the viewers gave us, and definitely we'll see if we'll try to get into it. But our conversation just vibes. We have vibes, so we're gonna really get into it and talk about a couple of things that really was meaningful for all of us. So, with all of that being said, how you feeling? How you feeling about this episode? And definitely not last week, but the week before episode on mental blocks. Did it change your life a little bit? Did it remind you of some things that you broke free from? I want to know.
Yes, absolutely. It's always good to kind of have what I call refresher, kind of just refresh those thoughts and ideas, and us having an organic conversation just allowed for those things to flow. So, you was talking about earlier when you did the intro that we're going to introduce some books that kind of triggered or changed our mindset on the way we think about our finances and financial freedom. I went back and went back to my very first book that I got involved with or started reading that really changed my mindset. So I'm really excited to share with everybody out there and, have another great conversation with you.
Oh yeah. Look, I'm ready too. When I tell you, I did put up so many of my books, that really just help me out with the process, because I ain't gonna lie, I didn't know what to do. My family, they were trying the hardest that they could, so they were doing the thing. Detroit, what up though? Just being Detroit, like I said, it's that hustler spirit. It's like, come on, let's get it. But it was just that blockage, you know what I'm saying? So I just got those books and I started just researching what to do. And I really got some great success. But you know what? We're going to get into it. I want to hear yours first. Come on now. Let me know that first book because you got me intrigued. I want to know what was that first book that really got you in the mindset that that you need to do some mental changes?
So I've always been a curious person. I always, every time I've been on here, I talk about being a lifelong learner and wanting to know and learn different things. And so as I got into my probably late 20s, early 30s, I had my first daughter already by this time, and was getting ready to prepare for a second daughter coming up soon. And during this time, I was also transitioning into being an entrepreneur. So it was a lot going on. And so I needed to know about what my finances were going to look like, because not only did I have to support one child and my fiance at the time, but also our second child. So finances was very important to me at that time. So just started kind of just looking around different things. And the first book I found was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Yes. Still one of my favorite books to this day. 2 weeks ago when we were on having that conversation about the money mindset and finances and different things, it reminded me of the Napoleon Hill book, Think and Grow Rich. So I went back and started rereading it and listening to it on the audio book as well. And it's just, really great to just kind of have that refresher of, some of those principles that I'm utilizing currently, able to see my net worth increase. So it was truly a blessing that I kind of came across it. I don't even remember how I came across it. I I was at the library in Southeast Durham, just going through some books, because that's what I did. So just looking through some different books, and there's other great books as well, but that one was the one that kind of stuck out, and really helped to trigger some of those changes, for me to change my mindset on how I felt about money and finances.
Ooh, okay, come on now. You done got Rich Dad Poor Dad. I was like, wow, not Rich Dad Poor Dad. We're gonna get to that, but Think and Grow. Think and Grow. We're gonna think of that book. That's my book. Rich Dad Poor Dad. We're gonna talk about that and bring that book down too. But Rich Dad Poor Dad was something. I'm like, excuse me, Think and Grow Rich was something. I just didn't understand, just how you can think and grow rich. I said, what is that? No, I couldn't tell nobody. I'm being transparent. I couldn't tell nobody I'm reading this book like Think and Grow Rich. But who does that? So I'm like,
yes. And also the thing about it, personally, is it's not the easiest book, I would say, to kind of really get into, because he's also adding, stories and kind of things about, the people he met and the things he's done, in conjunction with adding the principles in there. So, it's almost like, you got to kind of listen through some of it to kind of get to some of the meatier parts of the book. But, I think because I've read it so many times, I listened to it so many times, I almost know, like, when I'm reading, I know what's coming up, or when I'm listening to the audio, it's almost like I'm singing a song, like I'm, speaking simultaneously as them. But, so I've kind of over the years grown to really appreciate the book. But, yeah, when you see that the think part, it's like, but it was a really good book. And I also, Rich Dad Poor Dad was the other book I was going to mention as well, because that was the other book I came across, that was really, really impactful as well.
That, those two books were truly amazing. Honestly, it really changed the way, I felt, just as far as how I can really begin and understand how to build some wealth, outside of, just the regular way of doing it. You know what I mean? Because they were like, you're entrepreneurs, right? But then you had the other family that was entrepreneur and some family that weren't. They were, 9 to 5. So it's like, oh, whoa, this is too. I thought everybody was 9 to 5. So that was the myth. I thought everybody worked that way. And then I'm like, okay, wait a minute, you didn't have a 9 to 5? And they were like, well, why do you do that? How do you can't create wealth that way? And I'm like, because somebody else has, they could pull a plug on your money. And I was like, oh yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I got information, right?
Absolutely. And multiple streams of income is important, especially when you talk about creating wealth. We grew up in a time where our parents would, work for a place 50 years, retire, have their little pension and be good, but that's not the way life is now. There's so much more opportunity now, because at the time our parents, that later or earlier generation didn't have the opportunities that we have, so it's almost like, why not, or they fought so hard for us to be able to get to have the things that we have and have these opportunities. So why not, do the best that we can, and then in turn help support others, that love us and that we love.
I believe that, I feel that they wanted to, they really wanted to, but they just didn't understand really how to do it. So they did it to the best of their ability. It's just what it was. So they were dealing with life to life, life be life. And they were just trying to really just grind it with it. I didn't find out until later that you have to be around the rich, around the rich, or around people that have really reached that height in order to understand things. You really can't go to someone who has not really began to, progress in that place, to actually gain wealth. In other words, you could get there, but you won't be able to stay there if you don't have the strategy, right? So I was like, oh wow. And I didn't learn that until later, and people I wouldn't be able to talk to others, that were still doing the 9 to 5, and for them to relate, because they didn't understand, well, what are you talking about? You can't do it that way. They were like, you got to do it this way. So to put a stop, but because you'd have more information, you would just stop,
Yeah, absolutely. And then another book that I have, that's another one of my favorites that, Think and Grow Rich kind of got me started, got my momentum going. But this book, Secrets of a Millionaire Mind,
Ooh,
by
come on now.
By T. Harv Eker.
Oh yeah, I listened to mine on the audio. I was just like, oh my goodness, I replayed that book over and over again.
Yes. That one was like, when you talk about some direction, whereas Think and Grow Rich kind of gave you principles and kind of stories and historical facts that happen. Secrets of a Millionaire Mind kind of gives you a little bit of his story, but also more of those fundamentals and things to put in place, strategies for yourself to create that millionaire mindset, and also to create your increase your net wealth. So that was a really, really good one as well.
It's amazing that you say that, when you have these books, like, then I began to go around people that actually achieved it. They're like, okay, no, if you go to this process, this works. I'm like, okay, so I take your information. Okay, it works. I'm gonna sit here and just be quiet. I'm gonna listen, because I needed to be a student. I need to be a student. A person I need to learn, right? So I was just willing to learn, understand, right? And then, you would think that they would say, I'm gonna be honest with you, would think they'd say, oh yeah, if you just do this process and you will be able to create the money. The first thing they said is, you got to work in your mindset. You got to work on how you're thinking. You got to begin to forget. You got to begin to love others. You got to begin to say things a certain way. You got to begin to understand the things that you're saying at that moment, and begin to take accountability for it. Take self accountability for it, and begin to change the scope and change the way you want to say whatever you're saying. It's like, why do I have to do that? You got to do that first, because if you don't do that first, you're just going to do the same thing you used to do all over again, think you're going to achieve different results. And I'm like, oh man, did you just call me crazy? Oh, okay. People don't say that, but you're like, oh wow, you just told me insane. Okay. Yeah, it's just more so you're going to continue those same patterns if you don't change your mindset. And everything was on mindset. And I was just like, they say, if you want financial success, you got to change your mindset. You got to use these books for me. You got to read these books. You can't read. Remember, we had Jet back in the day, or your, you know what I'm saying? Just give me an example.
You said Jet. I ain't heard of Jet magazine, and whoo, it's been a minute. Okay. Okay, go ahead. Did my face say it? I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm listening. The Jet magazine. Continue on.
Okay, I'm going somewhere with it. So you know how you have, for example, like a Jet. Okay, so Jet was like, you'll have pretty much like articles, and then you have your beauty, best swimsuit edition, things like that, and then you have your categories and stuff. Look at you, Coach Mike. And then you pretty much had your attractions, things that entertain you, which is good. But it really wasn't really no value as far as you to scale, as far as you to understand how you can excel out of financial wealth, right? So in other words, you had to get some books that was going to actually be able to build yourself up for you to begin to think differently, to create, and begin to say, oh, wait a minute, I can create something out of nothing. Don't tell everybody. Don't tell everybody. But can't tell everybody, because somebody is going to be a dream stealer and tell you this and you believe that in the book. It's like, oh my goodness, for real? Well, I can't tell nobody that. Because my environment right here, the people are not in my environment that's really going to be successful and help me out here. So I think about that.
Absolutely. I mean, when you start talking about mindsets and involving other people, Like you said, back in the day, you had the Jet magazines, like you just mentioned, but they only provided information on what was going on in society. They wasn't really providing that instruction like that. But now having these books, having the internet and different things like that, I listen to podcasts all the time now. We have that opportunity. So I listen to, financial podcasts all the time. And the thing about when you talk about, just to go back a little bit, you was talking about learning from individuals, learning from true millionaires and being around millionaires, different things like that. So I feel that way, but I also I'm on the fence about it, right? Because you've heard the term "fake it till you make it," right?
Yeah.
Yes. And so I've been around some individuals who were faking it until they made it, right? They weren't quite millionaires yet, or they weren't as successful as they portrayed themselves to be, but they were teaching individuals how to increase their net worth and, different things like that. And through those practices, some of those people became successful and have become millionaires, even, having a greater income than the individuals who were, presenting the information. And so, I'm a firm believer and you can learn anything from anybody. You never know what someone can say that can trigger that thought or that idea in you. I believe that God speaks through many vessels, right? And so knowing that, I do believe in, if you want to be a millionaire, you should be around millionaires as much as you can to learn and kind of absorb what they do in different things. But in places where individuals don't have that opportunity, they're, in this city, that's a struggling city. They only know struggling people, they can't get around millionaires. That doesn't mean that you can't be, and that's where the mindset comes in, right? Because I didn't grow up in a very wealthy environment. I grew up wealthy as in wealthy that I had a lot of love and support and people who believed in me. But it was my mindset that set me apart because I always thought beyond what was, what we thought we had to be in that box, like, okay, you only have this amount of options. I never, allowed myself to think that way because of the people who loved me and the way that they supported me and built up my confidence. So mindset, is really the ultimate, gift, when you talk about not just financial literacy and increasing your net wealth, but just in general with life itself.
It's true. I really believe, you have to work on the mindset because remember, you might be doing, a process that your family believed in, the connections around you, they believed in, and you're rehearsing that, and you're not realizing that you're not even bringing up your own way of thinking. I would like to say real quick, Queen Jill Collins, I did see you, Queen. Thank you so much for coming into the podcast episode. I know that you definitely are very busy with your schedule. I appreciate you, Queen. Thank you so much. I know she is doing great things. I appreciate you, Queen. Yes. So, oh my goodness. And then we got Wise has a question about AI. Wise has a question about AI. How do we abstain ourselves in this ever-changing environment?
How do we sustain ourselves in this ever-changing environment? It's a question from IG. Whew. Again, life is about change, and growth is change. So we're always hopefully changing and growing with our environment. We are moving along. I thought it said something about AI. But yeah, AI, artificial intelligence is here, it's real, it's not going anywhere. It's up to us to take the initiative, to take responsibility to to learn how it could benefit us. You know, it's not about having Terminator cops jumping out, shooting up, and that's what people think AI is about. But AI does much more than just what we've been exposed to in the movies. It can help automate your systems for your business, help processes move faster. Artificial intelligence can be a great thing. But with this ever-changing environment, it may seem like it's changing fast and things are always moving, but think about where we were 10 years ago, right? And you were thinking like, wow, how am I going to keep up, And now 10 years later, I think we've done a pretty good job, right? So having that mindset that, you're just going to take things one day at a time, not always looking too far ahead. Yes, you plan for the future. You may have, long-term goals, but, being in a moment, taking things day by day. One of the things I tell people all the time is, eating the elephant one bite at a time, right? Instead of trying to ingest the whole thing, kind of, take those small pieces and ingest it how you can, but, just continue to move forward. Even small progress is progress.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that. Sometimes we got to think of it this way. Some of the things that, we used to do, 10 years ago, we would never know we would do it today. Like we would never know we'll be actually have automated groceries and, actually, putting your everything through an app and, visual, way of thinking, having just all you need to do is I need apple juice or orange juice and have it sent to you in a few seconds. That was the Jackson back in the day. Remember Jackson? We were like, oh, that's weird. That's today. That's real.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. I mean, when I was growing up, I thought, by the year 2000, I thought we was going to be Jetsons. You know what I'm saying? When I was growing up, I'm like, oh, by 2000, I'm going to have me a car out there floating in the air and everything. So even going back to that question where, back then I felt like we was moving fast to that point, and we're still not even to that point, of Jetsons. I mean, we have some of those things that we saw on there, but we're still, a long ways away. There's still a lot of growth and growing and building that's still taking place. You may think now, like, how can my phone get any better? But I guarantee, 3 to 5 years from now, your phone's going to be better some way, somehow. You know what I'm saying? So it's always progress and growth ahead.
I know I'm keeping my mind open to it. I'm just not saying, oh, I'm just not ready for it. And I'm going to have to get ready because the way this is moving, we have to get ready to it. Okay. So we have Coach Wise is saying, IHG question number 2. Where does real wealth begin? Oh, yeah, we got that question. And then we got Instagram has a question as well, too, after this one.
Absolutely. I hate to answer a question with a question. But one thing when you talk about where does real wealth begin, the first thing I would do is, what is wealth to you? Right? Mm-hmm. Wealth is going to be something different to everybody. Wealth for some folks is just having enough money to take care of their bills, feed their families. Boom. That's what they want to do. Right? Wealth to someone else could be doing all that, but also being able to contribute, tremendous amount of funds to their churches or do for, charity work, different things like that. That may be wealth to them. So I would say starting with, what is wealth to you? And then when you have what wealth is to you, I like to do brain dumps, what is wealth to me? Wealth is this. Okay. If this is what I feel wealth is, how can I obtain it? Putting some strategies behind it. But again, if I'm really going to answer that question all the way down, wealth begins in the mind. Again, I truly believe in mindset is the key for a lot of different things, right? if you don't believe that you can be wealthy, you won't be wealthy. You know, you can read 1,000 different books, you can know every strategy in the world, but if you don't believe that you can be wealthy, then it's not going to happen. So again, you know, it's the mindset. If we're starting about where the real wealth begins.
Ooh, I'm loving that. I'm loving this question. You know, it is a mindset, you know, it's really how you're thinking about it. And that's just, you know, we were talking about that last week, just as far as the way we're thinking, you know, just, you know, we have to get around those that are thinking bigger than you.
Yes.
Everything you're doing got to be bigger than you, right? You know, I got to be the small one in the room. I don't want to be the big one in the room. I want to be the small one in the room, listening, observing, and get more information and knowledge so I can know how to definitely continue to move forward. You know, one thing about it, I learned from definitely another coach. They were saying that, you know, it's important for you to definitely have your masterminds around the people when they're talking about what they're doing as far as, okay, the next process, next project, what's going on. I want to listen in. I want to just listen and glean from that. I'm going to get more information for myself to be able to understand how to build. One thing that I did learn is that, you know, you may say, listen, what do you want to do in your word? You want to create $1 million. You know, okay, so you want to create $1 million. Okay, that is a great goal. Now you could change this up a little bit and say, I want to create $1 million, but I want to create something of value that's going to create the great encouragement for others that is going to create that $1 million.
Yes.
So I'm going to be a millionaire. Just change it up a little bit. So I want to make sure that I create something that is going to be of value, that is really going to create something from that person that is going to be well over $1 million, really was $1 billion. And that where therefore the money is going to come. I think of Elon Musk. I think of, you know, all the other greats that have done things that were way bigger than them. You know, that, you know, the vision that they had was so big.
Yes.
Therefore, it had to come. You called it in. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All that wealth you want. If you're talking about the monetary, if you put it in numbers.
Absolutely. And I absolutely believe in mastermind groups. I have a mastermind group where it's just like-minded individuals like myself who are free thinkers, who believe in themselves, believe in each other. It's only a few of us, you know, some mastermind groups can't be so big, but you know, every you know, so often we'll have our mastermind calls where we're just, you know, bouncing ideas off of each other, talking about different strategies with the businesses or with different ideas or, you know, different things we have going on. You know, and so, you know, being able to have those opportunities with like-minded folks can really be truly helpful as well. So I'm glad you mentioned that, those masterminds.
Oh yeah, you know, and it's really, you know, it's to get more information. Honestly, they'll be able to, the right people, mind you, the like-minded people that you trust, know, like, and trust, they're going to encourage you to be better. They're going to say, hey, that idea was really great. You know what? I know somebody that's going to support you and help you, you know, that to come to pass. Because that's the whole point of us working together. You know what I'm saying? I really believe that process really is effective. You know, you connect around the right people, they're going to tell you about everything that you need to know. You know, I really believe that. I know that Instagram, there was a question out there. Oh, wait a minute. Coach Wise, he has a question. Oh, yes, that was the question that I wanted to. Oh, wait, that's another question. Okay, question number 3 from April Wheaton White. Are you a firm believer in the need of life insurance to create generational wealth?
Yes, this is a big one that's going around now. If you do anything on social media, you're seeing people talk about life insurance. And number one, yes, I do believe in life insurance. You know, especially when you have a family, you want to be able to hopefully leave something for them. So having life insurance, I believe, is important. There's different types of life insurance, whether it's term or whole insurance. So knowing those terms are very important as well. But a lot of what we see on Instagram and social media about life insurance is typically whole life insurance. and turning that life insurance policy into your own personal bank. I've seen that through different, people, talking about it and different things. But whereas that may be a great strategy for certain people, that's not the only way to create wealth and to have, wealth for your family. I also think having a family trust is something that we should start looking into beyond just a will. A will is great to have, but wills can also, depending on who the executioner of this will is, may not always play out as smoothly as someone would think. Hey, I have a will, so this is going to happen just how I have it in my will. And then they pass away. And how many of us know folks who, their loved one passed away, left a will, but they still had drama and beef over who got what and this and that, whatever. And so sometimes having a family trust is a better option, or not a better option, but an additional option to have with that, so that you have the autonomy to kind of direct who's doing what, and you don't have to worry about the state or the government getting involved like what they could with the will. But to get back to the question about life insurance as being a generator of wealth, yes, it can be. That can be a strategy that you can utilize, but it's not the only way. So I hope that answered the question.
Oh, yeah. We have another one for Miss Jill Collins. Come on now. You want term, not whole. Wow. It's not a good deal for good deal long term. Better to invest in the market directly. Poor returns over time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that right there is a perfect example of why people need to do their own research, because everything is going to be different for everybody, right? Just because something works for someone doesn't mean it's, a cookie cutter idea. Oh, this person did this, they got that life insurance, so I'm going to get it, and now I'm going to have that same type of results. You have to do your research. She's absolutely right about, the different, terms in life and whole and all that stuff. So that was right on time to always do your research in whatever strategy you choose to do. Definitely don't follow the trends, because going back to the other question, things are always forever changing, right? Remember, we had Billy Blanks was out there. Billy Blanks was the man. If you wanted to lose weight, you had to do the Billy Blanks. Now Billy Blanks somewhere looking like, I don't know. I'm sorry, Billy Blanks, you out there. I don't mean all that, but I'm saying, we go through phases. So
Yes, that is so true. I'm gonna go to Instagram real quick. I know there was a question out here. Definitely, we have our amazing April Wheaton. April Wheaton, I didn't forget you, Queen. I'm scrolling up to the question that you have asked. I believe you were talking about how to create. Well, she said, okay, so firm believer. Let's see. Mentorship is important. I feel that when it comes to financial literacy, I thank God for my financial mentors. Yes. So I see it now. Okay, so it is important for it, to have those financial mentors. I feel that we have great people that are really connecting with us and that can be a mentor for us. They might not have said they're going to be mentors, right? But they're mentors for us. And we know some great mentors. Definitely, I would say, even with the people that we know around us, they literally are leaning in. They, true mentor are really great. They want to give. They just want to give. They want you to succeed. Just so you can just hear the temperature in their voice and hit the connection with them. They're like, oh no, I want you to help you out. They're not trying to just take from you. They're trying to show you, educate you, put you in a place where you can actually create, great wealth for yourself. They talk different. Think about that, Coach Mike. They talk different. They're like, let's talk about, okay, so different ways you can create income. They're not even talking about the 9 to 5. 9 to 5 is cool. It is cool. It's not your only way. But they're talking about, there's grants out there. You can actually make sure you apply to those grants. There's grants out there that does everything that you're looking for. You definitely want to put yourself in the running for that. It's those processes too. Sometimes you only hear grants when it comes to, school. You think about, going to school. You remember when grants to school as far as the FAFSA, things of that nature. You think
Uh-huh.
that's thinking like, oh, I thought that's all you get grants for. Sometimes that's what you're thinking. But no, you're actually able to get funding in different ways. There are people out there that want to support you in your vision. Those are investors, those things like
Absolutely.
that. If you have like an event or things of that nature, there's people that will sponsor you.
Absolutely. When you talk about mentors, when there's a lot of different ways to get mentors. Mentors can be obtained through, hey, I want to be a yoga instructor, so you want to go to yoga type events, engage with immerse yourself in that kind of world, so to speak, right? But also when you talk about mentorships, like I mentioned before, I've never met T. Harv Eker, but I consider him a mentor, because I'm following his practices, I'm following his principles, I'm listening to him. Myron Golden is another one that I really enjoy. Never met Myron Golden, but I consider him a mentor. So it's not always like someone that you can physically touch or call. Those mentors are great. Sometimes, we have those 6 degrees of separation mentors. We're going to meet them one day, right? We're going to meet them one day, but right now they're that 6 degrees of separation mentor.
Exactly. Look, it's so funny when we meet them in person. They're like, "Oh, do I know you?" I'm like, "I know you. We have literally been through it." Let me tell you the whole
Yes,
story. It's like,
exactly.
they have no idea how much you have, touched their life. You know what I'm saying? And it's truly amazing for us to think that way. I love how, you have said something there. Sometimes we say, "Oh no, I've never met them in person. They're not my mentor." No, they are your mentor. They are your coach. They're look at the definition of a coach. Look up the definition of a mentor. It'll change
Yes.
your thinking. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's the mindset again. I see the question here. It came up again. Miss April Whedon. She asked, "What suggestions do you have for a new investor?" For a new investor, I would say the first thing I would do is to, like I mentioned before, start to immerse yourself in that world. When I started getting into investing, which was actually in 2020, when I really got into it, I started following some gentlemen on Instagram and YouTube, Earn Your Leisure, who offer great financial resources and different things like that. So as a first time investor, start to immerse yourself in that world. I started watching CNBC and MSNBC, watching Mad Money, just different things, because as you start to get into investing, some of the easiest things you want to be able to do is to be able to understand the language, right? If you think about, if you go to a new country, the first thing you would like to do is, I need to understand what they're saying, right? So you want to figure that out. So going into investing, I kind of looked at it that way. Like, I need to understand, like, when they're talking about the stocks, the bonds, the options and this and that, whatever. I wanted to know what they were saying because it sounded like German to me. So I started watching, like I said, CNBC, MSNBC, finding stuff on YouTube. I mean, you can find everything on YouTube. So I just started immersing myself in it and started kind of learning that language. And that helped me to get more and more comfortable with the idea of investing. Because sometimes it can be a little overwhelming. It can be a little bit scary kind of getting into it. Because nobody wants to put money into something and then they lose that money. We don't want that. So, for me, for first time investors, I say kind of just get yourself involved in it, start to, learn some of the lingo, listen to some other financial, resources. And then when you are ready, if you have an opportunity, I always suggest trying to find a good financial advisor. I would say start with asking family members first if they have a financial advisor. Because it's always easier to, get a referral from a family friend or, someone that you trust, right? As opposed to just kind of just going cold turkey, calling up Mr. Jones' financial office and, hey, I need a financial advisor. But if your aunt, has been working with someone for a while and trust them, it could be an easier transition for you to start working with them. So, immerse yourself in it, learn as much as you can, kind of get familiar with the lingo, and then find you a good financial advisor. And then believe that you'll be wealthy.
Come on now, say that one more time.
Believe you will be wealthy.
It's all about that belief, right? It's all about that belief. Because I don't want you to just say it and you don't believe it. And if you don't understand it, you get more information so you continue to understand that you can do it. You know what I'm saying? Get around the people that are that. I promise you, they're out there. They're, like I said, get your mentor, get the people that are connected to you. They're going to talk differently. They talk differently. They don't talk lack. They talk wealth. That's a trigger too, right there. That's something to adopt because, I realize you have to become it in a way and understand, what you want first before you see it. So you have to become the money before you see the money. You have to become it before you see the wealth, right?
Yes.
You have to become that. And, it brought me up to another book. I didn't actually get the copy of the book, but have you read this book, Becoming Money?
Yes.
You read it?
Yes.
That's your favorite book about it. I was like, I didn't get the actual copy, but I was reading the book through the ebook version of this book. When I said you becoming money, I said, what do you mean becoming money? What, the money, dollar bill? What? That's the thing. Becoming money was a mindset thing. Oh my goodness, that book changed the game for me.
Yes, Woo. Yes. If you desire abundance, live abundantly now. You'd be surprised how the universe will work in your favor, right? You think like, oh, I'm giving all this, but I'm not getting anything. It's coming back to you 2 and 10-fold. I definitely believe in that. I live an abundant life now. I don't stress or worry about what I don't have or what I need. When I want something, I'm smart about it, of course, but I live abundantly for myself. And, the universe has blessed me to continue to do that, as long as I'm providing, that positivity and love in everything that I do and showing the God in me. I know that it's coming all back to me.
Oh yeah. It is true, and that's one reason why we've been talking about this money blocks. Because a lot of times we want, we say we want this, well, we want to definitely achieve it, but we're still following the same patterns of the lack way of thinking, like, oh, I'm not good enough, or I can't do this, or, my dad and my mom, they fought over money all the time. So, this is really hard for me. I really don't believe this is really going to be good. Those thoughts are still, if they're racing through your head, that's what you're believing.
Yes.
This is the thing. If you see that and you're still following after that, it's coming out in your reactions. It's coming out in your character, the way you're doing things. And you are that. You are that. So if you don't want it, you got to adopt to do something else. Do the opposite.
Yes.
And a great coach like Coach Mike is going to be able to tell you something different, right? And they're going to adopt it because when you're around them, when you're around people like that, they're not talking that way that you've been talking. They'll tell you, hey, that's probably not a good thing to do. I didn't say, let's do something different. Just around them, they're going to say something different. Am I right, Coach Mike?
Absolutely. And as a coach, it's about putting together a strategy, doing it in a collaborative way. It's not about somebody being right or wrong. It's about finding the strategy that's going to help you achieve that goal. Whatever it looks like, it's never going to look like what you may plan in your head. I can't tell you how many times I had certain plans in my head of how I thought things were going to go. And I thought I put everything together smoothly. And when time came, it was the complete opposite of what I thought, but it still was successful, So, having that flexibility and understanding that, especially when you talk about coaching or anything like that, and changing mindset takes time. I know we've been talking about mindset a lot and talk about people believing in different things. Every time I teach class or I do a workshop or coaching session, I tell people all I'm doing right now are planting seeds, right? All I'm doing is throwing seeds out there, and some of them are going to germinate whenever they choose to. Every harvest is a little bit different. Some people get things right away. Some people it takes 2-3 months, So it's about spreading those seeds and allowing your harvest to come in due time. Right? We want things. We live in a microwave society. We want everything fast. We want everything right now. I want to be rich tomorrow, right? And who wouldn't want to be? But, it doesn't always work that way, and so you have to have that patience, and you have to have the understanding that, it's chess and not checkers.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, I like that. And it's believing in yourself, believing in that process. Because a lot of times, it's things that you need to learn within that too as well. Right, Coach Mike? So it's like, you say, okay, I want this $1 million. I want to be this $1 billion. Well, are you able to obtain that at this moment in time? Maybe it's going to take a minute for you to understand how to really maintain that, or understanding how to really just financially begin to understand that to say something differently, to begin to not think that, think short term, like, oh, I just want to go ahead and get these new Jordans. I want to go ahead and get this right now. No, it's like, think about a little bit bigger than that. Like, I want to begin to support this community because I know this community is really going to need this particular effort. And you know what, when I strategize this particular process, this is actually going to be about $1 billion worth of information that's really going to serve a whole community over here, and to really have a structured plan. So you already had this plan in place. It'll take a minute for you to build this plan, right? So you're going to be able to do this, and it's going to be abundant. It's going to be bigger than you, and it's going to be a community effort. And next thing you know, you look and say, oh, wow, I just created this money. I didn't even realize I was focused on this plan. I was focused on this. It's going to get your mind off of, the other pieces that you don't have to think about, because it's already going to come in place because you already structured the plan, built a foundation.
Absolutely. And along with mindset, we're talking a lot about mindset. Another big thing is discipline. You have to have the discipline to, like you said, I want those Jordans. They look nice. You know what I'm saying? They're going to go with my outfit. I'm going to look good tonight. Right. But you have to be able to be like, you know what? I have a goal. This is not in line with my goals. It's not in line with the strategies that I have. You have to be able to withstand from doing those types of things, and there's going to be plenty of distractions, but it's going to be about having that discipline and having that focus and drive to achieve those goals. But also understanding that it's not going to go perfect, because sometimes you may say, I don't need those Jordans, but I'm going to get them anyway. Right. Sometimes that's going to happen. But if it does happen, don't allow it to let it spiral you continuing down that path, right? You made the purchase, get back on the horse, get back on your path to, where you're going, but discipline also plays a big part in especially, creating a net worth that's going to be that wealth that you're looking for.
This is so awesome. This is so awesome, Coach Mike. So pretty much it's like having a process, having a plan, everything set in place that you want to do. I feel that this is structured way of thinking. When we think about, some of the millionaires in these books that we were talking, they have a strategy and a process. I think first thing in the morning, it's like they do things certainly differently. They actually, it's a reoccurring process. You know what I'm saying? We can talk about that a little bit too. Talk about what they do
absolutely.
First. Come on now.
Absolutely. So another book that I absolutely love, and I actually don't have, it's actually downstairs and I just don't want to run off camera to go get it. But
yeah, I had another book too, and I was thinking the same thing. So we can just talk about it.
I know. But it's called Atomic Habits.
Oh, yes, I got that book. Oh, that's a good book. Yes.
And I love that book because it really helps individuals create those strategies like you talked about, right? Because what you do on a daily basis creates the life that you live, right? And so when you start to look at your habits, are your habits matching the strategies or the goals that you have for whatever it is, whether it's wealth, health, lose weight, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Are those habits that you do every day helping you to achieve that goal? And so Atomic Habits is fantastic. It gives you a different perspective on how to think about your current habits, how to add new habits that are going to help you to achieve those goals to your current habits. That the habit stacking. So I don't want to ruin it for you because I don't know how much you read of it, but it's a phenomenal book. I recommend for anyone. That's a great book to help to start, like you said, because it's about what we do on a daily basis. Those habits that we have that's going to reflect that lifestyle that we want to live.
Woo, I'm telling you, and it becomes addictive. You know what, Coach Mike, listen, you ain't got to just have the book. If you don't got to wait for that, look, the audio book, take it in the car, listening to it, let it play. I'm telling you, when I tell you, listening to audio books has become a vibe. It's like having a great time with this book. Keep on playing it over and over again. It's like me and this book, we just having a good time. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I do a lot of traveling around North Carolina with my Tai Chi, with my dementia work that I do, my coaching and workshops. And so with me traveling, I travel at least 40 minutes to wherever I'm going, 30 to 40 minutes. So during that time, I'm popping on an audio book, listening to a book or listening to a podcast. I don't even know what's on the radio right now. I don't even know what's playing. I don't know the newest songs. I don't know the newest dances. If I go out, I'm gonna look terrible right now. But that's not, something that's really concerns me. So I just really like to utilize, I like to just utilize and maximize my time best I can. So in the car, I could listen to my jams, what I'm saying? Listen to Nas and Jay-Z and, whoever, what I'm saying? But why not listen to Secrets of a Millionaire Mind? Why not listen to Atomic Habits? Why not listen to Myron Golden or Earn Your Leisure, the different things that, are reflective of the lifestyle that I'm living now or looking to achieve, So always maximizing your time, I call it car university. I jump in my car. Hey, I know I'm gonna learn something on my ride.
Ooh, so true. Oh my goodness, that really is true. Honestly, and it really just builds your environment. Honestly, you really begin to talk different, speak different, and the people around you. I'm telling you, it really is just really going to create your, your culture that's around you, and you can begin again. You can always begin again. You can, when somebody's telling you you can't, that is not true. You can do anything. I don't care where you are. You can begin today. Where you at? I don't care if they are knocking on the door, trying to take the house, trying to take your car. I don't care if they doing all of that. You know what? You can begin again.
Yes.
You can begin your structure, whatever it is. It ain't over. You woke up this morning. That means, come on now. You can
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, listen, things happen all the time. Life be lifing, like you mentioned earlier, right? Life be lifing. And, so it doesn't matter where you are, start this minute, today, tomorrow, whatever the case may be, regardless, there's going to be traumatic events that take place. I went through one a few years ago where I had a situation take place and it hit me really hard, and I had to restart, but I restarted. And now looking back on where I was then to now, it's night and day, but, things are going to happen. At the time I thought I was here, things happen, drop back down, then you got to work your way back up, but, life happens and you just keep pushing forward. Like I said earlier, even small progress is progress. So start today, Start right now. If building wealth is something that you're looking to do, start right now by just saving the change you got in your pocket. You see that penny when you walk in, pick up that penny. Don't be ashamed to pick up that penny. You know what I'm saying? Just spend any other time. I bet you if you was at the register and it was $100.01 and you gave them $100, they're going to want their 1 cent before they give you your stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, just, start with little things like that. It doesn't always have to be, this big grand plan and all that. Those are things you can build up to. But, starting small with where you are, ain't nothing better than that. If you're watching this, if you have breath in your lungs, life in your body, you can start.
That's right. I'm telling you, come on now. Yes. Oh, yeah. We have amazing Queen April Wheaton White says, I developed a philosophy that if I use a product or wear a designer to invest in it on Ameritrade.
Yes. Yes, I do the same thing. I have Verizon and Disney and all that stuff. So absolutely, yes. If I'm paying into something monthly or using something, long term, absolutely, why not invest in it? Sometimes, depending on what you're investing in, you may get dividends back or whatever. But yeah, absolutely. Just don't pay them your monthly bill. Also make a profit off of them as well. Yes, absolutely.
Come on now, you begin to talk different. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
It's like, oh, wait a minute, I want to invest in that. Okay, let me go ahead and get sponsorship on that because I'm having this conference and this event right here. I know that this is going to be great benefit. You know what I'm saying? You begin to talk different.
Absolutely. And the thing is, another thing we talk about starting, just start with what you have. I believe Ameritrade, Fidelity, Ally, all these places, they have brokerage accounts that you can start investing in if you're at that point. But you can invest with just $5. You don't have to have a whole lot of money to kind of get into investing. And investing is also not the only way to create wealth. I know it's very popular now. People talk about it and different things, but there's other ways to create wealth as well besides investing. But investing is a great way and a great strategy to increase your net worth.
That's what I'm talking about. You got April Wheaton White. She said on Instagram, she said she picked up 2 pennies today. That's what I'm talking about. She said, you had to pick up that penny. I'm going to give you this too. Come on now.
Yes.
Money. Come on. Mm-hmm. Amen. Come on.
Amen.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the 2 pennies. Come on now.
I'll pick up them 2 brownies.
You better know it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. This is what I'm talking about. This is so good. Listen, I do want to go ahead and at least get into one of those questions, Coach Mike, that,
Okay. Yes.
About. Let me just get into one at least. Listen, because this conversation is going, because we're still getting into it, family. I'm just letting you know, because we'll be able to vibe and we'll keep going. So let's go ahead and get into this first question.
Okay. What were some financial blocks we had to overcome?
Some of the financial blocks you have to overcome in your journey, and how did they impact your life?
I would say my biggest financial block was just not knowing any better. You only know what you know. And we talked about, back with our parents and different things, they only knew what they knew. So I think my biggest block was just not knowing, as well as also not knowing, but then when you find out, taking the initiative to find out about it, right? Because one thing to not know, but then when you have the opportunity to find out about it, are you going to do that investigation or that research into it? So my biggest hurdle or my biggest block was definitely just not knowing. I always say when I was in high school, I worked at the Olive Garden, my senior year. And I was a bus boy and a food runner, and I was making hand over fist. You hear me? I was making thousands of dollars, and I was just taking it in, and it was going right back out. Like you mentioned, I had all the Jordans, I had a car, I had everything, and had I known then just to kind of, save some, invest if I knew anything about investing at the time, things could have been different. But that was a block that I had. And then once I found out, because that's another thing is like, how do you know you have a financial block, right? Because if you don't know, you don't know. But as I started to advance in my career, started to interact and engage with different people, learning from other folks. Then, of course, the internet and social media growing as well over time. I started hearing things as well as in movies. I think there was a movie called Wall Street back in the day. And it was like Wall Street, I lived in Jersey, so I knew about Wall Street in New York and everything, but I didn't quite know what they was doing besides in there yelling and screaming, right? And so one of my favorite movies is Trading Places, Eddie Murphy, right?
Oh, yeah.
And in that movie, him and Dan Aykroyd kind of switch places, right? And they make Dan Aykroyd poor, and Eddie Murphy gets rich by trading places with him. But part of the reason why Eddie Murphy was rich was because he was investing with the Dukes, right? And so I'm like, what is this investing? And so that was kind of when I started to wonder, like, what is that? But even then, it still didn't catch on until later on in life. So that's why I said it planted the seed, but it didn't harvest for me until later on in life.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. That is something, planting the seed. Now, that's the word right there. You know what I'm saying? Because of the things that we're doing, the process that we're doing. Let's go back into the mornings, morning routine. Right. All of those things, those are building blocks for ourselves as well, too. We're building that up. It's just like, you see this one day, you're doing this process. And then next thing you know, 10 years come down the line. What happened to your life then? Your life has truly transformed, truly changed. And you'll begin to understand that you can actually obtain anything else because you change your routine. You adopted to reading books. You adopted to actually investing. You adopted actually, beginning to build your trust, right? You adopted actually doing certain things with your masterminds, having daily or weekly masterminds with your team, your group, and you begin to talk about, areas and how you can continue to move forward in there. I believe you talk differently with your team.
Yes,
you begin to talk differently with your people that work for you, that connect. You begin to say, oh no, I don't just have workers, I got partners that work with me.
Yes.
That, right? You begin to talk in that way. You begin to really create your own reality. I feel that we all do that. And, we can have a successful journey or unsuccessful journey, but we create it. And we have to take responsibility of it, right?
Absolutely. A big thing for me, for mindset, that is probably priority number one for me is having the attitude of gratitude, right? Yeah. When you wake up every day and you're just truly grateful for just being able to open your eyes, waking up, having breath in your lungs, life in your body, the sunshine, or the rain, truly having that grateful attitude is something that is truly life-changing in itself. And so, that's something that you don't have to necessarily strategize. You don't have to, talk to anybody about this. Having or being grateful is just something that you can just do. you know, and that's why that's something that I always preach to folks. Just, you know, if you can just be grateful, you know, just be grateful for not just the big things, but the little things too, you know, and really start to appreciate it. It's life changing. It really is. And so, you know, having that attitude of gratitude is something that I always stress to anyone, not just, you know, to change mindsets, but, you know, just to have a better quality of life, you know. Having that attitude definitely releases much more stress and anxiety out of your life than increasing it, and definitely helps to allow you to have that best life that you can have.
I like it. I like it. That is so true. You just said something there. It's just having that daily walk of gratitude and being thankful. I feel that when you're happy and when you're excited, there's no stress in that. And when you're loving what you do, that really is a life change too. When you're actually doing the things that you truly love to do, it really becomes the tone of the environment for yourself. I really feel that.
Absolutely. And even if you're not doing what you want to do, because I know folks who, have jobs who they do the job because it pays well, right?
Mm.
But
Yeah.
you can still be grateful for that opportunity, because God has still provided that blessing, that opportunity for you, right? And so
Yeah.
sometimes people are like, oh man, I got to go to work today. And yeah, you may not always want to, but you know what? You get to go to work today because you are alive, right? You got to wake up. You got the chance to take in a breath, your first breath in the morning, right? And so you get the opportunity to do these things, because nothing is promised and nobody's promised tomorrow, so, understanding that and truly having that gratitude and appreciating things will make things that aren't as fun or maybe that you want to do, it helps things to at least, I like to say, it lubricates the situation. You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
Yes.
Like, you're too funny. See, let me tell you something. It's so amazing for us to have that. You can actually have fun in a place you think you don't have fun at. But if you really understand that, like you just said, just being thankful for this place of employment that's paying you, that's actually creating some type of environment for yourself, you can begin to change things like, oh, I get to come in here. I get to come into this, amazing opportunity of work. I did not before I had a job, but I have one today. It really just changed everything in your mindset and your perception to be for different. I know there was a question that just came up, and then a question on Instagram as well, too, that is here. Okay, there we go. Question for Coach Mike. What advice do you have for soon to be retired people that want to invest?
Oh, yes. So you're never too late to invest. And that's number one. Okay. But as someone who's getting ready to retire, that's looking to invest, number one, again, finding a good financial advisor, because I am not one. So please don't accept my opinions, because they're just my opinions. Okay, they're only mine. I'm not suggesting anybody do anything. Okay, but for investing, always look to find a good financial advisor. But then when you talk about investing itself, because you are near retirement age, you may not want to look into invest in things that are more risky, right? You want something that's going to be a little bit more steady, a little bit more stable. So maybe investing in individual stocks may not be the way to go. Maybe investing in ETFs, which are a little bit more stable. They don't fluctuate as much as an individual stock because it's a cluster of stocks in an ETF. A good mutual fund is also good. They usually have about a 10% return each year, and they're pretty stable. They don't fluctuate as much as the market does. So I would absolutely say find you a good financial advisor, and then with the investments, look to find something that's more stable and less risky.
Oh yeah. I love it. I love it. Oh my goodness. They're coming in on, I believe that was the Instagram question for you, Coach Mike. Listen, this is what I'm talking about. It's important to have this strategy in place, and I just really definitely we're going into another question, but I want to definitely talk about, just as far as our emotional well-being. A lot of times we have to begin, Jayhan said, amen. Come on now. So a lot of times to understand our emotional state and of thinking too, you really got to begin to understand how you're feeling. If you're feeling really down and really sluggish, definitely don't keep ignoring that. Understand that, understand where it's coming from, right, Coach Mike? Understand where it's coming from and begin to, to change the scope of things. You know what I'm saying? Why am I feeling slumpy? Why am I feeling this way? Begin to get some information and get a trusted person if you don't want to do it, if you don't understand it by yourself, but begin to understand how to change it into something else so you can begin to actually retrieve whatever you're looking for when it comes to your wealth and your finances, because you have to begin to change it, because you're going to keep having the same temperature. It's not going to work for you. But acknowledge it and begin to change it. Then with some gratitude journaling, doing some of those things of that nature as well too. Connecting with somebody like Coach Mike or somebody that's able to connect with you and definitely able to change your way of thinking. Sometimes you just need a word that's going to give you some words of wisdom that'll change your way of thinking. Say, wait a minute, I didn't realize that I can do that. And it will change the temperature. And you begin to start smiling and begin to doing something different. Like I said, to the audiobooks in the car, definitely journaling, whatever that may be, begin to do something different. And sometimes you just need to relax. Sometimes you need to relax. You're just too stressed out. You got too many things on your plate. Begin to understand boundaries for yourself. And so you'll be able to hear something different. So I wanted to add that into the place as well too, for this conversation as well.
Absolutely. And that kind of encompasses, self-care and taking that responsibility for your self-care. That includes, your emotions and how you're feeling and making sure that you address those things. So absolutely. Emotions are something that, I address with all of my clients. It's one of our sessions, the whole session is about just dealing with emotions. Because emotions are something that we all have and we're going to deal with because we're human beings. It's just the way it is. There's no avoiding getting mad or frustrated or anything like that. As much as I'm up here smiling and look like I'm all happy, there's times I'm frustrated and mad too. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's also, like you said, being aware of those things, being able to identify them and address them is really important for a good quality of life and for, whatever you choose to do as far as your goals.
Absolutely. Yeah, we need this. Coach Mike, this is so amazing. We needed this. I tried to get to some of the questions, Coach Mike. It's like our conversation, because we vibe, you know what I'm saying? I knew this conversation was going to be so rich. Definitely we're going to be talking about something that each and every one of us needs to hear. Definitely before we go any further, what is something that you want to share with all of us when it comes to, their conversations, when it comes to the blocks, when it comes to those places that we know we don't want to be in? What is some advice that you want them to start off with? How to go start off, because I don't know what to do. What do I need to start off with first?
So I'm gonna go with the first thought I had, which may not go for everyone, but I would say first start with the Bible. There are life principles in the Bible that will lead you and direct you in the right direction. The Bible, again, could be something daunting because people see Bibles and it's thick and it's a lot of words and they don't speak how we speak now. But starting with the Bible is so important because that is the true foundation. And you can be specific when looking in the Bible. Google, faith scriptures. Google, scriptures on anger or frustration or whatever it is that you may be going through. and read those scriptures and sit in that and just study it and dwell in it. That would be my first thing. But for folks who may not, be fans of the Bible, whatever it is, I think you should always look to that higher being, right? Start with yourself. Okay. Take responsibility with yourself first, right? When you start there with yourself, everything else will come in, right? When you build yourself up, when you've filled your cup, you filled yourself, you're going to start to attract. Okay. And as you attract again, you still have to be smart, be mindful to know when you attract something, what to put away and what to keep, because not everything that you attract is going to be for you, right? So I would say start with the Bible, start with yourself. That's always the greatest starting point. Planning and research is also a great place to start. But yeah, those would be my 4 starting points.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it. And family, just to let you know, if you have read Think and Grow Rich, there is a chapter on faith, and just really understanding how a lot of those industrialists, they were interviewed. He was the interviewee was interviewing the industrialists. They were millionaires, and he didn't understand how they thought. They began to create with their thoughts, but they also had faith. They believed in God. It's why they really believe. They had a process in that, and they really understand the power of prayer and the power of understanding how you have to have faith and have to understand how you can achieve anything that you want to achieve. It was a strategy. It was a process. I really believe that. I really, really believe that's going to be success tools for all of us. And I believe everyone is going to be able to take that in, honestly, just take some of these tools. They have really achieved success, and, having these books, resources, audiobooks in the car, whatever it is, and begin to change the way you are thinking with all of these tools. I promise you're going to have success in so many different ways. That honestly, wealth is, how you believe in, wealth in your community, just the little things that you have and around, and you're achieving success in your neighborhood. That's great wealth. Yes. Only you can say what you want. It's not about anyone else. You can choose your own way of thinking and your own wealth for yourself. So I think that's a great mindset trick too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Wow. This was truly amazing, Coach Mike. I mean, I'm looking at the time. Oh my gosh. Again, I'm just telling you, we vibing with it. We definitely having a good time.
Of course.
Everyone else is really receiving great knowledge. Please let us know how we can connect. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Hear me? Okay. Please let us know how we can connect with you, Coach Mike, and definitely how we can definitely be able to support you in everything that you're doing.
Absolutely. Social media, you can connect on me at social media. Life Coach Mike P on Instagram. And then probably the best way to connect with me is my website, makinglifegood.org. On there, you can find some of the programs I do, such as Tai Chi and dementia and some other things. Our website will be updated tonight, actually. We have an update going out where we're going to be making some offers for folks, for some of our caregivers to get some assistance. But also, I'm excited about the summit that I'll be doing with you. So looking forward to that and putting together a coaching package just for that purpose. So really excited about that. But definitely makinglifegood.org, best way to reach me. Life Coach Mike P on Instagram. And if you really, you got to get my permission to add me on Facebook, but Mike Patterson on Facebook, or Michael Patterson on Facebook. I'm on Facebook as well, just as my name. So feel free to contact me. And I really appreciate you having me on. I hope and pray that what I said has a positive impact on someone. I hope I planted a seed that comes to harvest and is very, very fruitful for whoever it touched. And I'm really grateful for being here. So thank you, Queen.
Well, thank you so much, Coach Mike. I really appreciate you. Like I said, this is not the last time. We're going to continue this on again. Just thank you so much for sharing so many amazing wisdom nuggets for each and every one of us so we can break these mental blocks of wealth out in money. No, we are well, family. We are definitely wealthy. You definitely need to understand that. And these tips and tricks that you're giving us is truly impactful. I appreciate you, King. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Look forward
thank
to seeing you.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. This was such an amazing opportunity to have Coach Mike Patterson definitely talking about how we can definitely begin to break free from these mental blocks that we hold on so long. Honestly, family, we don't have to stay with them. I promise you we don't. And definitely begin to take some of these tools and information that we provided for you. Definitely take some of the tools in these books that we have been to break free from as well too. Family, is going to be definitely well with you. I really appreciate each and every one of you and definitely being able to tune in. But you know what? I'm so excited for us to continue this on because I promise you this is going to be great for you. The lead in. Looking forward to you connected with us on the amazing summit that's going to be happening, family. This particular summit is going to be amazing. It's called the Breaking Free Summit. Breaking free from all those emotional mindset blocks from our past, family. And I promise you, as we begin to this journey of understanding who we are and how we can definitely understand how we can create success within ourselves, myself and amazing other coaches. We have 6 other coaches. We're going to be talking about how we broke free from a lot of our toxic patterns of the past. And that is something that we definitely need to do so we can achieve clarity, definitely achieve our potential, and definitely financial success. Definitely this particular summit is going to be October 24th through the 26th. And definitely it's going to be a great, great event for all of us. Definitely it's going to be a few days long, and definitely you got to tune in. And definitely the early bird special is going to be ending on September 30th. So you definitely want to tune in. Now, to register for this particular event is on my website, IamLakeisha.com. Again, that is IamLakeisha.com, family. And I really know that you're going to really achieve great success when you come. Now, IamLakeisha.com definitely is amazing resources of mine. You're going to be able to see a little bit about myself, not only the links, definitely opportunities to go into my coaching programs, and definitely you're going to be able to connect in so many other places as well. Definitely you're going to be able to connect in my merch as well, family. And it's going to be merch that's going to be there. It's going to be my resources with my amazing books. Definitely the Soul Rockstar t-shirts, family. You definitely want to get that. There's all many Rockstar t-shirts that are going to be for women, definitely in all sizes. You know, and grab your t-shirt there. And it's going to be great for you. And it's only in amazing colors. That's in pink and in blue. I have on the pink one right now, family. So you definitely want to tune in to that. I know you do. So with all that being said, family, I'm just so excited about this episode. Wow, it was so impactful. Listen, make sure you share with other friends of yours as far as the Confused to Focus Talks with Lekeisha, because we really do have some mind changes, shifts that happens in this amazing podcast, family, moving ahead. So with all that being said, I'm so thankful for you. You already know how I end my amazing shows. In all you do, lead with confidence, understanding, and love always. Always know that you win. Always know that you're welcome. And always know that you are great in anything that you achieve to do. Definitely understand that you have a great day, family. I look forward to seeing you next Thursday. Have a good one.